how's it going today? I shouldn't have to say who I am, you should know by now. But anyhow, it has been time for another road trip. Road trip with me in a Tesla Model 3. I had extra distance in the road trip this time. I went to Alabama to visit some people, and along with that, I decided to make a extra detour to visit the Army base I was at in Louisiana many years ago. That added a 1,000-mile loop to the trip to go do that. And I did it. I drove there. I saw everything. I was there about half of a day. And I started turning around to come on back. So I thought I would be really tired of the driving, but it hasn't been that bad. Just going from supercharger to supercharger, just one at a time. And the Model 3 is actually doing most of the driving for me here. I got the autopilot running. I got the GPS and the screen going. So it's been pretty good. Now I'm heading back north on the way home. I'm just not getting around to filming part of the video. I just stopped at the Supercharger in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it's the first time I've been to a Supercharger where they had 8 charging stations and all 8 were full at the same time. The way the Superchargers are set up, they have 4 big power things inside that distribute the electricity, and they have 8 charging stands. Now if you have 2 cars on the same power bank, they'll split the power so each gets half. So it took a little longer to charge up that time, but it was alright. There was a Chick-fil-A nearby, so I went to the Chick-fil-A and got a dinner there and walked back to the car. And then I had stopped at a store right next to it as I was leaving the area. And the lady behind the counter, being that it's Tennessee, they say things a little bit differently down here in the South. Thank you. Their version of the word you is spelled Y-E-W. They say it like you, thank you, like you. I know, it's down south, whatever. I was all the way in the deep south, down to mid-Louisiana. Well, I got about 100 or so more miles of south to go to. But where are we at now? We are heading on I-40 east, heading back up. I just left Knoxville, heading north. It was raining for a while, now the roads are pretty good. I gotta switch hands because that hand is getting sore of holding the camera way out there. And here's some deep thoughts from Tim. I found this to be pretty interesting. When I went to the Army base in Louisiana, well, it's been 28 years since I was there. 28 years. More than half a lifetime ago for me. So, of course, a lot of things had changed there. A lot of stuff had been moved around. Different units were there. A lot of things were there that weren't there before. And it looked good and all. I saw some things were still the same. A lot of things were different. A few things I wasn't sure about. I have to go back and look at my old photographs to see if I'm right or wrong. But here's the thing, and this was like the real profound moment here. When I was in the Army many years ago, I really had never been anywhere in life aside from home. So when you're at that age and you don't know any better, you're at the Army base, you have your job you're doing, you have your daily routine, your whole work environment, the people you deal with, and it's easy to see the Army base and the surrounding towns as pretty much your entire life. And at that time, you're young, you don't know any better, and it's okay. But now, 28 years later, I've lived in different apartments. I've had many different jobs. I moved to Los Angeles and back twice. And then all of a sudden, 28 years later, you go back to the same Army base and you see the same general area around it. And all of a sudden, that Army base is a whole lot smaller. You see it as like a person would see going to whatever job you may have. You know, you go to work, you come home, you do everything in the rest of your life. Well, that's how I was seeing it now. So I knew how I thought of it from years ago, but now it's like, okay, it's one thing in your life, not everything in your life. So, could I ever go back and do it again? Well, no. First of all, I'm way too heavy and way too old. But if I was that age, knowing what I know now, oh no, could not do it. Could not do it. But it was interesting to notice that change. So, one of my little tips for life, I suppose. You know, learn where you're at, look around, see what you got there, think how it applies to your life, and make the best of it. Simon was riding the white lines of his lane. My autopilot's going right down the middle of my lane. Oh, Cooter's Garage and Museum. Yeah, well, I can't go there now. I'm trying to get some midnight before I get home. Okay, switching hands again. I didn't have time to rest. And going along some of the roads I drove on to get there, I saw some interesting ways of getting there. It wasn't always highway to get there. I came south through Mississippi on Interstate 55, and then I was going west on some 2-lane road out through all the woods and trees. And that went on for about 150 miles to get over near Alexandria, Louisiana, because one interstate highway was way north and one was way south, and I would have had to go dozens of miles out of the way to take those. In retrospect, I probably should have, because on these narrow roads, you know, if you're driving slower, you got to pay more attention. You can't always have the autopilot on. But, you know, it was part of the trip, going different places and seeing different things, and I made it a point to stop at different superchargers along the way. And when I would look around and I would think, okay, this is this area. The people that live here, this is their daily world environment. Why would they want to live here? What's the matter with these people? Have they got no imagination? Have they never been anywhere else in the world? This is good enough for them? They want to live their whole life here? You can think about stuff like that. I guess it's different for everyone. But we're going on down the road, and I'll make some more videos as we go along. I'm on Interstate 55, heading south through Mississippi, coming up to the Grenada, Mississippi Supercharger in about 13 miles. Now I'm in Hazelhurst, Mississippi, heading for the border of Louisiana, and for the first time in a long time I'm not on the interstate. It now has me taking state roads way out through the woods here to get to the Alexandria Supercharger, which is not far from my destination. I almost missed my turn getting off the highway because I wasn't paying attention, and I had to back up on the side of the road about a quarter mile. Yeah, I'm that guy who does that. That's always fun. But anyhow, I think it's going to be no more. It looks like no more interstates the rest of the way. All more local state roads and stuff. But we're doing good. Finally, after running through the woods there, a 2-lane road for over 40 miles. This is south on 61 in Mississippi. like on a highway. That's much better. They don't have roads like this in Pennsylvania. These roads are long and flat and straight. The pavement is in good condition because there's no freeze-thaw cycles way down here. And it's a little bit of an odd color pavement too. It's not cement, it's pavement, but it's kind of like a tan colored pavement. I don't know if the sun just bleaches it or what.
But I'm living the dream that he kept me. Moving me down the highway, moving me down the highway, moving ahead till I won't pass goodbye. Like the north wind whistling down the sky, I've got a song, I've got a song.
This is Pineville, Louisiana, and I saw this. I thought I'm going to stop and take a picture of it. An old rundown gas station. With the prices on that sign and how much growth of plants there is, I'd say it's been closed quite a while. In the last 15 minutes, I've seen at least 5 billboards for this lawyer, this ambulance chaser. That's what it looks like to me anyhow. In a jam, call Sam. Then he'll charge you thousands and thousands of dollars to defend you for your DUI that you're going to go to jail for anyhow because it's your 3rd DUI or whatever other criminal problem you put yourself in. And yeah, I'm in a jam. No, you got caught doing something. But pay me anyhow, so at least I get some money out of it. I'm Sam, and call me when you're in a jam. This was our building for all of our unit meetings. That door there was for our group. And we all stand out here. And these wooden posts were not here before. This is the parking lot we parked in. That's more or less the same. This was the building I lived in. That was the door, and 2nd or 3rd floor, I forget. Here's one thing that hasn't changed much. The auto craft shop, where I did a lot of my own car work. There were big trees right here along the road. They've taken out the trees. But I would come down here and pull in and set up for a bay in the garage and do all kind of work on my cars, and it would take me all day to do a simple little job, and I'd always be rushing to get out of here before they chased us out at closing time. And I just missed closing time today. Oh, this gate's closed. It was never closed before. And by before I mean 28 years ago. Huh. Here are more of that lawyer's billboards. We're over 40 miles away from the other billboards, and he has more. How many billboards did this guy buy? How many do you really need? Around any army base, there's enough military people, white trash, and other questionable kind of people that you should have no problem finding clients. This is a intersection on the corner of Fort Polk. And I used to come this way all the time and come out here to go towards the town. It's one of the few ways to get there. And this gas station is still here. This looks all run down. The next building is all shut down up there. Way back in the early 90s, people had those tiny little trucks like Chevy S10s and little Nissans. Those tiny pickup trucks. And they would slam them down low to the ground. Well, one time some idiot had one of those things, and he came in here and he got the truck caught on this curb. He had it slammed down so low to the ground it couldn't make it over this curb. I'm thinking, you idiot. Your truck ain't too cool looking like that. But this place, I'm guessing it's open. The lights are on in there, but to look at the rest of this, you wouldn't think it was open. There's a street sign. But there was more activity over there before. I have to remember, though, when I say before, I mean 28 years ago. I say, Tim, a lot can change in 28 years. Yeah, I guess so. All right. Look at the car I drive now versus the 86 Plymouth Reliant K I had at that time. It was a good enough car, but it was slow. There's a great big field. What a waste of taxpayer money to have to keep that thing cut. For what? The occasional parade or ceremony? That's government waste right there. Okay, here's a little story I can share with you. Behind us is the barracks building I lived in when I was here in the Army. And here is the middle of our parking lot where the turnaround is. And here's what I did. It was early in the morning, about 7 a.m. Saturday, August 1, 1982. I had signed out of the Army the day before, July 31, because my due date, August 1, was on a weekend. So I stayed here overnight, getting ready for our trip home in the morning. And I decided to take one last moment to commemorate finishing 4 years in the Army. So knowing that a lot of soldiers, they go out and they drink a lot and they get all drunk and everything, and they're probably in there sleeping off all their drunkenness, I pulled my car around right here, and I stood outside the car, and I made my big announcement, I'm leaving now, and I laid on the horn for 4 seconds straight. And then I let off the horn for 4 seconds. Then I laid on the horn again for 4 seconds straight. I was on the horn 4 times like that to commemorate my 4 years in the Army and hopefully wake them up from their drunken party night recovery. And then I got in the car, drove out of the parking lot, and headed north and started going home. Well, that's a little story for you. I enjoyed it. Okay, so it's like 1:30 in the morning. I just got to the Tesla Superchargers in Monroe, Louisiana. And I am tired. Very tired. And look here. There is a building full of beds. And if I go in there and give them quite a bit of money, they'll let me lay down on a bed and take a nap. Or I can just put the seat back in the car and take my shoes off and try to get some sleep here. The LoudMouthTim way. Almost as good and a whole lot cheaper. I think I'll go with that one. On I-20 in Mississippi, heading east. I'm in Meridian, Mississippi at the Superchargers. It says Gonita Lakes Mall. And look at this place. Amazing what a little virus can do, huh? After the zombie apocalypse, there'll be more of this. This is not the first big shopping center I've been to in this trip, where the whole place is like a ghost town. It's crossed from Virginia into West Virginia on I-77 North. I've already passed a lot of big hills and valleys and lots of trees, and here's still some more. Now we're in the final phase of the trip. I hit my last supercharger in West Virginia, and now I have enough battery power to get all the way home and then some. And going all through West Virginia, heading north, I've been going down a big hill or a mountain, and then I go down another one, and then I go down another one. And how many hills are there you can go down until you can't go down anymore? And the further north I got in West Virginia, the more curvy the road became as you went down these hills. And the autopilot's been doing fine, taking care of all the curves, running 75, 80 mile an hour, no problem. There's a white Challenger there in front of me, and it's a white car, and he has the Grim Reaper with a big scythe on the side of the car. What is that supposed to be? Weird. But I'll be home in just under 2 hours, and I'll make a video for you.